Run Your Story family, this is Allison Gilliard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And so stinging excited because we have the amazing Miss Delaney sharing her Run Your Story, and what a story it is. Guys, you are going to be so touched and inspired, and not only that, but I hope that while you're listening, that you guys are saying, how can I help Delaney along with other adaptive athletes? And that's a great question to ask, because at the end of this, we'll share some information as well. So very, very excited. Huge shout out to Delaney and her mom, Jenny, for coming and sharing Delaney's Run Your Story. Guys, this podcast is presented by Victory Health Partners. Guys, Victory Health Partners is a medical practice providing compassionate and comprehensive health care for adults ages 19 to 64 who are without health insurance throughout the Gulf Coast. It is through partnerships with well over 150 physicians and specialists that Victory's patients have access to health care ranging from primary care, dental, specialty care referrals, medication assistance, women's wellness, mental health counseling, and guys, the list goes on. If you want to make an appointment with them for a patient, you can call 251-445-0038, or for more information on becoming a patient or even partnering with Victory Health, you can visit www.victoryhealth.org. That's www.victoryhealth.org. Or you can follow Victory Health on social media as well. They are a great partner, and so thankful that they believe in Run Your Story and we believe in them. And guys, they also have a fundraiser coming up on May 2nd. Check out their website along with that, or you can also check out Run Your Story page where we talk about Victory Health as well. So guys, thank you for listening today, and I hope that you become super inspired by Delaney and her Run Your Story. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I'm super nervous because I have a celeb right here, Miss Delaney. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm so excited because of you and your mom, I've been getting to learn more about you and what an athlete you are. And you just came back from Disney racing, and you kicked butt and set a PR. And I cannot wait to hear, what is your run story, my friends?
So my run story sort of has been a long time, but my run story started in 2014.
Okay.
My parents started training for the 2014 Forest Gump run that was in Fairhope. And when they were there, they saw this girl in a wheelchair with gardening gloves. And she did the whole 5K in her regular wheelchair, just using garden gloves.
Wow.
And that friend is Shandy Oliver, and we became fast friends, and we started getting involved with the run community, run team. Which one was Ainsley's Angels? And I started being pushed in these jogging strollers.
Okay.
And they're very cumbersome, and a lot of runners have said that they're really hard to control. But I started being pushed, but after a while, Shandy got hurt, found that she could be pushed in an adaptive wheelchair that is made for running.
Okay.
So I wish I had brought pictures, but it has 3 wheels. So it has a front wheel and a back wheel, and it's very aerodynamic. And she got hers, and then I saw, I think I can do that too. I started fundraising because it's pretty expensive.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes. It's not like just a pair of running shoes.
Right.
A lot more. So I started fundraising, and then I got my racer, and my first race was Trick or Trot.
Oh, okay. At South, right?
Yes.
Ooh.
It is my least favorite course. I would say that one and doing at Dolphin Island.
Okay.
Those are 2 of my least favorite courses. But so I started, my first race was Trick or Trot. Then I started getting involved with My Team Triumph, which was what our Ainsley's Angels chapter changed to.
Okay.
And along with the people that were being pushed, me and Shandy were doing our wheelchairs, but yeah. And then I started doing Disney races, which is this is my favorite races.
Okay.
But I started doing Disney races in 2018.
Wow.
And that's where I met an even bigger adaptive running community.
Okay.
That's when I started realizing how big the adaptive community was.
Wow.
And I still am friends with some of them, and I've actually, another one of a big race for adaptive athletes is Houston.
Ooh, okay.
And I did that one and this year, and that was a lot of fun. That's pretty much how my run story.
I love that. That is so cool that your parents started and then they saw an adaptive athlete and then they were like, hey, I love that. I love how you're like, I can do this. I also love how you're like, no one's pushing me. I'm doing this myself.
Yeah.
So what are some lessons learned from running that you've experienced?
So I have learned that training makes a huge difference.
Ooh, okay.
Because I used to be like, oh, I don't need to train. I'll just do races.
Okay.
I did not like training.
You sound like a typical runner right there.
But I started training, and I have found that has substantially decreased my time because I've been doing races like an hour or 45 minutes, but now I've gotten down to 30 minutes.
Oh my God, that's insane.
And I've done one almost 28 minutes.
Oh, girl.
That was Houston. That's my best run memory.
Wow.
Because of how fast I was.
Gotcha.
Because I used to think I wasn't, and now I've realized how much training has increased my endurance.
Wow, that's amazing. So why are Disney races your favorite race?
I think one of the reasons it's my favorite race is because you're at Disney. And there's characters along the route, there's Disney music. One of my least favorite things about it is it starts super early. You have to be at the park at 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, that's dedication.
Yes. The race starts at 5, but they do this walkout where they have all the adaptive athletes walk out together to the start line, and there's people in the corrals cheering.
Oh, man.
And that's really special to
Sure.
have all the support of all the able-bodied runners cheering on the big group of adaptive athletes.
Oh. And let me just say, you were so photogenic at Disney. Well, at any of the pictures I've seen you in. But girl, you were like serious, but then smiling at the same time. And I was like, Delaney ain't playing. I'm having the time of my life, but I will skunk you.
My mom was like, why didn't you stop at character stops? You could have done that. And I was like, yeah, I thought about it.
But then I wanted to racing, Mom, that I'm doing. What does your pre-race routine look like?
Pre-race routine is I pretty much get in my wheelchair about 20 to 30 minutes before the race.
Okay.
Pretty much get my packet before I start getting in my racer. I start hydrating like days before, and I've realized hydration is really important.
Especially in the South.
Yes. And then before I get in my racer, I make sure all my tires are aired and make sure everything's working properly. Then I try to get a protein bar or peanut butter before I leave the house. And then as soon as I get in my racer, some push rim athletes warm up. I haven't really gotten in the habit of doing that, like a warm-up, but pretty much my warm-up is getting to the start line.
Girl, I feel you right there. It's so funny going to races and you see people warming. I'm doing my 1 mile warm-up and I'm like, kudos to you. Mine is going to be walking to I feel you. We are the same level right there. What does your post-race routine look like?
Post-race, find my parents.
Aww.
Because I try to find them to make sure I don't like to be without them.
Oh, that is so cute.
Oh, yeah, stop my watch. I try to get some water because sometimes I don't stop at the water stop.
Okay.
And then I try to get in my regular chair because I can get really uncomfortable in my racer. It's a very cramped position. And I try, if available, at the post-race party, I try to get some Cammie's ice cream.
There we are. Yes, girl.
I love me some Cammie's ice cream.
That's right. Delaney, I just feel like we're instantly best friends, you and me. I am with you 100% with that.
Then I try to get into my regular chair, but that's like one of the first things. Cammie's get my regular chair.
I can't even then get comfortable.
No, it's opposite. Getting regular chairs in.
Go find the Cammie's.
Go find the
I love it.
Cammie's.
That's awesome.
And then also I try to find the results.
There we I love it. You prioritized everything perfectly. So, what is your favorite running item?
I would say my favorite running item are my new 3D printed pushing gloves.
Oh, okay.
So they're called Ingeniums.
Okay.
And they were developed by an adaptive athlete out of Illinois, at Champaign, Illinois, which is where there's a big college. University of Illinois has a big running. That's where Tatiana McFadden, who is a big push rim athlete, and that's where a lot of the innovation for adaptive athletics comes from.
Oh, real? Okay. That's super cool to know. Okay.
That's where a lot of the professionals have trained and all that. And gloves, because before I had these leather gloves, and they're really hot and they're very uncomfortable, and they didn't allow me to use my hands.
Okay.
To get water, stuff like that. And so these gloves, I should have brought them with me, but they have like a leather pad, and that is where I hit the rim.
Oh, okay.
And that's just one of my favorite running items.
That's amazing. So how did you get them 3D printed?
So they have this guide where you measure your hand.
Okay.
And they have, for whatever size your hand is, they have like different sizes, and whichever one matches up with.
Wow. That is so cool.
And then I think the first pair I had, because that's my second pair, is grooved, so it has where it grips the rim better.
Okay.
The first pair was flat, so I just hit the side of it with the flat part of my glove.
That is incredible. And it's also the fact that it's 3D printed. Wow. Man, that is so cool. Favorite running shoes?
So I would say, since don't use my feet, I would say my gloves are my shoes.
I love that so much.
Or my chair.
There we go.
That costs more than running shoes.
That's right.
Yes.
That is awesome. What is your favorite running fuel?
Liquid IV is something that I have used as extra hydration, and also I like Cliff Bars just as a breakfast bar before races. I haven't gotten into the goos. I have them, but I haven't tried them. But I don't really think about fuel. That's just not something I have thought of yet. But I'm still learning.
That's right. And I mean, you're already speedy, so you're like, fuel, blah. So, Delaney, what has been your favorite running memory?
I would say probably having the support of my run team, Bluebell Bombers. And they came to the Houston 5K. They were all running the half marathon and marathon, but they all came like in a big group of 20. They all came running up to the start line before I started. And I started crying because they all came early in the morning, the day before their big race, and came to cheer me on at the 5K. Also, I've had one of my good friends in running, Melissa. She saw me, I was struggling at the 2022 Battle of Mobile Bay, and that was a tough race. It was hot. It was before I started realizing training was important, and I was just struggling. I thought I couldn't finish. Melissa came, she had finished, and she started running the opposite way, trying to find me to make sure I finished. And
I love me some Melissa. I'm with you. Oh, man.
I love training with her.
Yeah.
We're in the same neighborhood. She's a half mile away from me, so we meet up halfway and we run around our neighborhood. We have different routes, and
That's incredible.
And she is one of the things that I find important in our run community is they have started asking me different things. What do you like to be called? Assisted athlete, adaptive athlete? Like, they have asked me the mechanisms of like how my racer works and just different things that's different from running than being a push from athlete.
That's incredible. Man, you're also a better neighbor and friend to Melissa than I would be, because I would be pranking her all the time. I absolutely love her, but I'd be a nightmare, because I'd be like just whatever I could do to annoy her.
Yes, we have some good laughs.
So what is your favorite meal, either pre or post racer?
I think I put Cammy's.
There we go.
Sponsored by Cammy's.
Okay, so now I have to know this. What is your favorite ice cream from Cammy's?
Coffee.
My God. Yes, Delaney, I'm telling you. We are best friends now.
That or the pecan king cake. That one's really good.
My God, yeah. Or here's what you do. You combine them both.
Ooh. I haven't tried that. That would be really good.
Right? It's like crack. You're like, this is the best thing ever. I'm just saying. The next time she has king cake, we're going out on a date. And we're like, just mix it all together. I love that. So do you listen to running jams?
Sometimes.
Okay. So what is your playlist, girlfriend?
80s pop. I love some 80s music.
Do you really?
Yes. And so like Top Gun.
Shut up.
Like Journey.
Okay.
Just upbeat. Sometimes I put in some Bruno Mars, just different upbeat music.
So, unlike the guys who listen to Taylor Swift, who we will not name from previous podcasts. He's like,
I don't know if I can get up to Steve Taylor's Taylor Swift.
That's hilarious. Oh.
And then for Disney races, it's Disney music.
Love that. That's incredible.
I just love the Disney music. It's happy.
Yeah. Do you find that, like, when you're listening to Disney music, that you're going with the jams, you're, like, singing along with it, and then you're, like, your speed?
I sing a lot more when it's Disney music.
That's so funny. What is your favorite recovery tool?
My Normatec arms. So a lot of runners have started using the Normatec leg. I realized I don't really use my legs for racing, so I was like, do they have arms? And we looked, and they did. I was like, I think I need those.
Oh, yes.
So I have used them after races, and they sort of help with soreness and stuff.
Because you're at an angle, so I could see that you're using muscles.
My shoulders get so sore.
Oh, I bet, yeah. But look at those guns you got going on, girl. What is your favorite cross-training activity?
Biking. I've started doing the adaptive training program through Peloton.
Okay.
And I found that's really cool to find out there may be an adaptation to a certain movement with weights or whatever to help with. And I really enjoy those, and the instructor's really positive and inspiring. He was actually injured in a boating accident.
Oh, wow.
And that was really cool. And he has one arm, but he makes light of his disability, and that's really cool. That's just something that I've sort of done, try not to dwell on it. It's sort of cool to see someone else have that same outlook.
Sure, yeah. Plus, now I'm going to have to stalk you on Peloton. We'll do Peloton buddies. And I'll be like, what's Delaney doing? Okay, I need to do that. Are you competitive with your family on Peloton?
Not really.
Okay.
We don't really do it together as much anymore. When we got it during the pandemic, do it together. But
Gotcha.
I sort of do it on my own now.
You're like, I'm the elite athlete in the house. This is my training session.
Oh, yeah. Strava makes me competitive.
Oh, got it. Okay, good to know.
Like, Miss Melissa has put, if it's not on Strava, it doesn't count. And so I'm like one of the things that pre-race, I'm like, make sure I have my Strava on. It's like, and so like, don't start as fast as some of the other athletes because I'm fiddling with my watch to make sure.
We're all like, go, Delaney, go.
She's like, I have got to start my watch. That's hilarious.
I haven't quite mastered how to turn it on fastly.
That you're like, but I'm not starting this until it starts, and then I'm going. That's funny.
Or I like start it like as I like get away from the start line and then start it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because this past Monday I went with Melissa in Jackson, Alabama, and literally on her Strava it says walked with Allison. I was like, really? You have to say that? Like, she has to describe what we're doing. I was like, oh, Melissa, because I was like, I'm not your pace, Melissa. I am not running with you. She's like, it's fine. I was like, I am walking. That's the safest way around Melissa that I can do things.
Yeah. Same.
So you mentioned some races that you don't like. So what has been your worst race and why?
I would say the Battle of Mobile Bay this year was one of my least favorites.
Okay.
It was because I have never raced in the rain.
Oh,
it was boring.
Okay.
It was boring.
Yeah. It was cold too.
And cold.
Okay.
And the gloves, they don't really have as much traction when it gets wet. And they have this stuff called Clister. It's like sticky stuff that helps grip the wheel.
Okay.
But I have it for cold weather, which it was cold weather, but I haven't figured out how it works.
Gotcha.
And so I would say that one was pretty hard. I would say the Battle of Mobile Bay is just a hard race for me. It's just flat. It doesn't have any variation, so I can't get speed.
Gotcha. Like you mean going up a hill and then coming down and gotcha.
I enjoy a downhill.
Who doesn't? Delaney, I just love you.
You're just like real. I'm like, yes, girl. That's me all day long. The less work I have to do, the better. Any advice that you would want to give to any adaptive athlete?
I would say find your community, find an adaptive athlete to train with. It's really important because you can learn technique. Okay. Because there's specific techniques to racing. Also, you can find videos of the elites like Tatiana and Daniel. They're Paralympian athletes, and it's really cool to watch them compete.
Sure.
And just like you may have the same disability as them, and that makes it really cool to see, hey, I may have this disability, but I can do good things. I can be competitive. I can be active. And I would say running's a good sport because you're with your able-bodied peers. That's why I enjoy it, because I can be with my adaptive family, but also I have my running community that I can compete. Like, I like when I have Keith, who is a really good friend of ours now. Like, when he comes up to me, he's like pushing me, and I like, how far can I get before they come up behind me? It's like the first mile can be like the fastest because I'm trying to get as far as I can before I start getting everyone coming.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I enjoy having them cheering me on, and they see all the training that goes into my racing and how hard I work.
I love that. I told you earlier before we started, and that was that I've gotten to see you at races, like at the end, because you're so far ahead of me, and I'm not catching up. I'm not that fast at all. But I've been like, oh, I want to go meet Delaney, but there's always these people around you, and I'm like, that's okay, like one day. So you are just your smile is just incredible. And then again, what you're doing with the adaptive community, and I mean, just your story, like I'm just blown away by it. So just all that you're doing. So I'm very excited. And now, like when I see your races, I'm just going to yell now, like from a distance while your crowd of people are following you. Hey, Delaney! So what are some goals that you have?
I would say a personal goal is completing a half marathon.
Wow. Okay, you go, girl.
Because I've done 5Ks and 10Ks for the last 5 years.
Okay.
But I want to do a half marathon. I signed up for the Sea Turtle half marathon of this year.
Whoa.
But unfortunately it was canceled.
Okay.
But I was like, seeing our running team train for marathons and half marathons, like, I think I can do that too.
Wow.
Another goal of ours is to get more people in our adaptive community, to have more racers, because the more people we have, the more the race directors and that they'll see that there's people that want to be involved and they'll want to support us, and that will allow us to maybe not have to be you have to ask to have an award. Like,
Gotcha.
It's not always there. I want it to be always there in the registration form, assisted adaptive athlete, because I may not be at every race, but maybe someone else wants to be at a race I may not be doing, but they may not know that they can be at that race. There should not just be like one person there. It should be on registrations that assisted athletes are welcome, because we want to be welcoming.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And you're doing a great job of advocating that. That's amazing. Your mantra, when things get hard, what is something that you tell yourself?
I try to tell myself one of my favorite Disney movies. I know I love Disney. Have courage and be kind, because I have gone through a lot, and just having courage to face life and face hard challenges and just be kind. So have courage and be kind is my mantra.
I love that.
And just to face life with a smile. Just something that I've always done.
And you do well.
Sometimes it's hard, but I just see all the support and know that I'm making a difference.
That you are. So, what is your favorite length to run?
I would say 10K.
Ooh, okay.
I enjoy doing 10Ks. They're a lot of support. They're like the big races I've been a part of. I enjoy doing the Azalea Trail. That's like that was my second 10K. I did the Senior Bowl 10K.
Such a good race. Yeah.
And I like both of those because they're opposite of each other.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
I enjoy doing those, and the roads are really good for those races. And I've just enjoyed doing distance. I feel like I can get better at doing distance.
Absolutely.
And just 5Ks seem a little short.
That's where we deferred. 3 miles to me, I'm like, that's long.
Right.
10K's long, but that's hilarious, Delaney. When you're not running, what do you like to do?
Hanging out with my friends. We sort of have this, we call it the SOMO group. And it's part of, we just hang out. We go to yoga together. We've just started hanging out together and just spending time with friends. And I enjoy being out on the water. I've done adaptive water skiing.
Dude, there's no stopping you.
I enjoy kayaking. Just being outside, just being active.
That's incredible. Wow. So now we have some questions from our Patreon supporters that support the podcast. So these are their questions. So one question is, who is your inspiration, or who inspired you to start?
I would say I started off with this, but Shandy Oliver was who inspired me to start, because I saw her getting into pushing herself in her pushroom chair. And I would say someone famous that I have followed is Tatiana McFadden and Danielle Romanchuk. They are sort of like my idols. Like, I really enjoy watching how they train and just seeing how they both have the same disability as me.
Okay.
And they're just inspiring.
That's incredible. But you also have to think about this. You're inspiring others too. So just as much as they're inspiring you, you're having that ripple effect for other people.
I try not to I don't really think about myself as inspiring. I'm just being myself.
That's right. Yeah. That's perfect. And that's what inspiration is, girlfriend. I'm very excited about this question. What is one thing that would make every race better for our adaptive athletes?
Having an adaptive category listed on the registration, because not every race locally has it listed.
Okay.
And it may say assisted athlete, but it may say winners, but it should be or no, it's opposite. It may say finishers, but we're all winners. We're competing. We're just like all the other athletes. We're competing with each other. And we also would like to see a bike escort for the lead athlete to make sure, if it's not a closed course, to make sure we're being safe.
Ooh, okay. Not something I had thought about. Okay.
Because we don't really have we're looking down at the ground. We're not really watching what's going around us to see like if a car's coming or something like that. So having someone that's watching for obstacles or things like that is really helpful.
So Delaney, when you say the finisher, because this is something that I've been learning, it would be great to have like first, second, third awards for adaptive athletes. Okay, instead of finisher, you want awards.
Because
got it.
I think if it said like first, second, and third, because there may not be as many because they don't know about the sport and they don't know that the community is welcoming.
Gotcha. Okay.
And
that's something I did not know. Okay. Yeah.
Because I have some races, we have to ask when they start doing awards, is there going to be adaptive athlete awards?
Wow.
Because not all races have had them. Like, we have to ask. That shouldn't have to be.
Sure.
That should just be something age group awards.
Just a given. Just know that's going to be that. Can you tell me what an adaptive athlete is?
An adaptive athlete is an athlete who uses either a hand cycle or push rim or any other way, or forearm crutches.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Versus assisted.
Versus assisted athletes are being pushed in the jogging strollers, and they're not actually doing any activity.
Okay.
But they're still being a part.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. About Grandman.
Oh, yes. I competed in a Grandman triathlon.
What?
Yes.
The one that's in Fairhope?
Yes.
Oh, girl. Wow.
In 2016.
Okay.
That was before I was in push rim athletics.
Okay.
But I was still competed. I had someone swimming, but I was in a raft.
Okay.
And then for the biking, we had this special chair, push rim chair, that turned into a bike trailer.
Wow.
So it could be pulled by someone on a bike. And then instead of having to change to a different chair, that chair converted it back into a push chair.
Get out of here. Wow.
And then one of the things that I remember is Shandy had started racing, and she did the Fairhope Hill all on her own. And she was like, people were coming up behind her asking if they could help push her. And then she was like, no, I'm doing this.
Like, don't touch me.
Yes.
That's incredible. I've done that one time and I was like, never again. Because you have to go up that hill too many times.
I couldn't remember. You had to go up it running
and biking. Yeah. No, thank you. Not at all. So what has been the best race for adaptive athletes?
I would say the best race I have done was the Houston 5K.
Okay.
And both the half and the full both have assisted athletes.
Okay.
Well. Adaptive athletes, not assisted
And
athletes.
assisted.
And assisted. But I went there as part of Team Catapult, which is an adaptive team out of Houston. And that's their big race.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They have a huge team, like 30, 40
really?
people.
Wow.
Blind athletes that run with a guide.
Okay.
Athletes that may use like forearm crutches or have blades.
Wow.
They're amputees.
Yeah.
And then they have hand cycles or push rim. And they used to have, pre-COVID, a gala that would be before the race that
wow.
that would be like their fundraiser. That would be along with that race. And that is something we've sort of started in our community with our Crew of Kindness Ball.
Yeah, I love how you just went right into that. That was my next question. I'm so excited because I cannot wait. So tell me, what is Crew of Kindness?
Crew of Kindness was started as a way to give back to my community and to help with adaptive recreation. Because in 2016, I was chosen to be the Children's Miracle Network Ambassador, which is a national program that fundraises for medical equipment in children's hospitals.
Okay.
And that was through Children's and Women's Hospital. And I got to go on these trips. I went to Washington, D.C. to meet with our state representatives.
Wow.
And got to meet Senator Sessions. Okay. And I got to meet the Surgeon General and just...
Whoa, I knew I was in presence of royalty. I knew it.
That was just cool to see, to put on a national, to sort of have a voice, to advocate for my community and advocate for something that I've been around for my whole life. And so we saw that need for maybe not medical needs, but for recreation, because there's not anywhere for adaptive recreation locally.
Wow.
There's Lakeshore Foundation, which is in Birmingham, but there's nothing local. And we want to bring that here. We've put down beach mats at Dolphin Island. We have sponsored a special needs camp at the Dolphin Island Sea Lab. And we are wanting to be a resource for assisted athletes at local races. We have partnered with Port City Pacers to be at all of their races as sort of a point that adaptive athletes can come to, and we can then say, these are our assisted athletes, make sure they are listed on the adaptive category.
Yeah.
And we just want to increase our adaptive community and make it bigger and better and welcoming, and just let people know that we're out here and we're still doing, even though we may have challenges.
Sure.
We find ways to still be active and be in our community.
So the big fundraiser is coming up.
Yes.
And so it's a gala, right?
Yes. It's a family-friendly Mardi Gras ball.
I love that so much.
Yes, it'll be at the Battle House. It's a way I've always seen my parents go to Mardi Gras balls, and I was like, I want to do that. And so we started this as with Heather Peppercorn, which was a local event coordinator, and she was like, we can do that. So we started planning our ball. We had our first one in 2019, and we sort of want all abilities to come. Kids with or without disabilities, and just have fun with their parents and sort of have the ball experience, but have it family friendly. We've had DJs to do different music. We have Disney. We've had the Blowhouse Band. We've had Malvillian Indians. We've had what other? The photo booth. We've had a photo booth. We've had Condi Cavaliers?
I believe so.
That came dressed in their costume.
Wow.
And was like, we have the second line, and we have our umbrellas, and that's sort of our ending. We sort of have a Mardi Gras second line, and we get to have a dance around, and that's a lot of fun.
Did I see this right, that you were queen one year?
Yes, that was our first queen. Yes, so we get to pick a king and queen with a disability, and we've had 3 kings and queens.
Wow.
And that's just a way.
But you guys go on, like, you, as a queen, you went on and you represented as an ambassador, as an advocate for the adaptive community, because you guys started doing other things within the community as well.
Yes. After our first ball was when we did the beach mats.
Wow.
And then after that, we saw maybe we can do other things in our community. And one thing we did was, one of our first service projects was sewing at the hospital.
Whoa, really? Okay.
We sewed pillowcases, because in a hospital room, it's not really cheerful. It's really scary. And so we've made pillowcases as a way to make a room brightful and cheery.
That is so cool.
And one of my hobbies is sewing, and so
Stop it.
it's a way to use a hobby to give back, and that is something that we've done. We started with Girl Scouts, and then we started doing it as part of our nonprofit, and we have now partnered with a local sewing shop. And
Distinguished young women.
we've partnered with Distinguished Young Women for multiple years, and that is one thing they've said they really enjoy is sewing, having something made by them for children at the hospital.
Wow. So like the pillowcases, are they like different designs? And
Yes.
and there's Disney characters.
Yeah, we just try to like any bright, cheerful, like superhero or
Wow.
anything like that.
That is that's something that I would have never thought of. But I love that. Like that is such a cool thing that you've done. And then you've taken what for a lot of kids can be, because it's different ages that are at women's and children's for different things and they're, again, like you said, sometimes they're just stuck in that hospital room. But you've taken something that you've seen a need for, and you're like, let's make it fun, because if you have to be here, we're going to jazz it up. That's incredible, Delaney.
And we also have been a part of a project called Beads of Courage, which
Okay.
is another sewing project, which we make these bags they make these beads, and each bead represents something that a child goes through, like a IV stick or a surgery. And we, as a keepsake, we make these bags that the beads go in, and it's something that they can sort of maybe not realize
How much they went through.
how much they went through.
Wow. So they have the beads, and then are they making the bracelet themselves? Like,
They string it on a big long cord.
wow. That's incredible. Again, what a idea. Like, that's incredible. Wow. Girl, like I'm just in awe over here. Wow. I love that. So if somebody wants to sponsor Crew of Kindness, or if they want to buy tickets to the must-be event of the year, where should they go to find this?
We have a Facebook page,
Okay.
Crew of Kindness, and we have a website that has pictures of our past balls so they can see what it's about. And we have an Eventbrite link on our website and Facebook page
Okay.
to buy tickets. We are excited to have this year, we're partnering with Ron Barrett, and he is helping do our wonderful decorations. And we're excited to have that wonderful partnership.
Absolutely. And just so you know, we're going to put your Facebook page and all that information on Run Your Story. So when anybody comes to that way they're like, hey, I want to know where to go, there'll be a link on our page for that. So anything that we can do to support, we want to. So because you are, just an elite athlete and all around girlfriend. So queen and royalty in this room right here. So any final words of wisdom you'd like to share, my friend?
Just have fun. It doesn't matter how you're out there, if you're maybe in a chair or hand cycle, just being out there with your peers, having fun, being on the same playing field. And running is just one of those sports where it's not like wheelchair basketball or whatever. You're on the same field. It's not just something separate. And I just enjoy that part, being together with everyone.
Oh, I love that. Thank you, Delaney, so much. It has been such a joy. Absolutely love Delaney, and what an amazing story, and kudos to her parents for going to a 5K and saying, you know what, I see an adaptive athlete, our daughter can become that, and she has, and what an athlete Delaney is. Absolutely, I'm a huge fan of hers, and I was super nervous to interview her because she's amazing, and she's become such a great friend of mine, and I am constantly learning from Delaney and Adaptive Athletes and how Run Your Story can be involved, because I want to be an advocate for them. I hope our whole running community wants to be an advocate for them. Let's do it, guys. Let's partner with them. And one way you can do that is the Crew of Kindness Gala Ball that's coming up in May. So go to Crew of Kindness website, or you can check out the Run Your Story website as well. That will have a link to their website. I hope that we see so many runners there supporting this beautiful cause. And when you're at a race, cheer on Delaney and the other adaptive athletes. Guys, they're incredible. I've gotten to meet them, and I am in awe of them and their run stories, and I'm a huge fan. So Delaney, thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being the athlete that you are. Thank you for being so young and taking on this world-changing opportunity. You're doing a phenomenal job, my friend, and you have a smile that lights up the world, and people should get to know you. That's all I gotta say. You, your mom, your dad, y'all all are just fantastic human beings, and absolutely love you. And I'm a huge fan. So guys, thank you for sharing your story. It's absolutely beautiful. And again, check out Run Your Story to follow our Victory Health partners who are sponsoring this podcast, and Crew of Kindness. 2 great resources to check out. And as always, thank you to Mars Hill for allowing us a safe place to be able to record, and for believing in Run Your Story. It is such a true honor. And for Gilliard Tech Services for all editing and everything magic that he does when it comes to the website and Run Your Story, and we are so appreciative of that. Guys, you can check him out at Gilliard Tech Services as well. So guys, go out there, lace up your running shoes, or if you're Delaney, you're a racer, and go run your story, because every story needs to be heard. Thank you, Delaney, for sharing your story, because now it's become a part of mine.